Hello friends, we are on day 3 of 30 inks in 30 days, so welcome back. Today's ink is Colorverse's KSLV-II, and I noticed that I accidentally wrote Drum Ghoul's exclusive on here, and that is not correct. So I'll just cross that out. And I am using my Retro 51 Tornado, the Apollo-Soyuz model. Oh, and this is a 1.1 stub, so it shows off the ink really nicely. And I had quite a bit of bleed through from yesterday's ink, the splat on the back, but that's okay. We'll make it work. So this is another very pretty rich blue that really leans towards the purple side of things, and it's got a red purple, more purple sheen, not quite as intense as the sheen from NASA Blue from day 1, but still very sheeny. So KSLV-II stands for the Korean Satellite Launch Vehicle number 2, also called Nuri, which means world in Korean. It's a 3-stage launch vehicle that was developed by KARI, which is the Korean Aerospace Research Institute. And Nuri's second launch on June 21st of 2022, so just this last summer, was successful, making South Korea the 7th country in the world with the ability to put a satellite weighing a ton or more into orbit. South Korea's domestically developed KSLV-II Nuri rocket successfully placed 6 payloads into low Earth orbit Tuesday after lifting off from Naro Space Center at 4 p.m. Korean Standard Time. With this launch, South Korea has become the 10th nation to put a payload into space using its own domestic technology, and the 7th to loft a payload of more than 1 ton into orbit. And that is a snippet from an article by Chris Lott from Hackaday that was written on June 23rd. So this is such a pretty sheening. I really do like how it doesn't have quite as much sheen as the ink from day 1, NASA Blue, which makes it just a little more usable for me. It still has a lot of sheen, and like here where it's really drying, and I think I'll have some sticky spots here, but that is okay. And you can really see it on the page. The chromatography is still drying, but it really went up through all these purples, and then that bright blue, and then a dark line at the top. Very pretty. And then on this recycled 81-pound paper from Cognitive Surplus, it went down so wet onto this page, and then I could see it feathering out, especially because this pen has the 1.1 stub nib, and it really went through the page. You can really see it on the back how there's lots of bleed through on the page because it was just so wet and heavy, and this paper couldn't quite handle that. But even with yesterday's ink, there was still some ghosting through, and that was in a much finer nib. But pretty, but really no shading and no sheen on this paper. Oh, looks like the splats are almost dry, and yep, you can really see the sheen on those splats as well. So a very pretty ink for day 3. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!